David Brewster here with a new episode of 3 for All, and this is 3 Alex Skolnick Licks from 1989, and I've had some requests to feature more of Alex's music, and definitely a legendary metal guitarist, and he's been on the scene since around 1983, so 40 years now his career is extended. Member of Testament, a former member of Sabotage. He's led the Alex Skolnick Trio, for a few decades now. Session guitarist who's worked with Lamb of God and some guest appearances out there. Definitely a great guitarist, one of my favorite players, and nobody really sounds like Alex Skolnick, a legend. I have featured Alex in previous episodes, here on my channel. There's a 3 for All episode, also the Chords of Testament Chordplay episode, and also the rant video, the Students of Joe Satriani. And Alex is definitely an essential guitarist, very influential, very popular too. There's a lot of Alex Skolnick fans out there. But if you're looking for more Alex Skolnick, lessons and material, these are the images and videos you're looking for. So the licks and ideas in this episode actually came from a bootleg, and it was Testament, playing a live concert back in 1989. I think it was in Oakland, California. It was actually recorded on October 6th, so the anniversary, this concert's, is a couple days away. But there was some great footage. Even though it was kind of distorted, obviously it was probably a camcorder if it was 1989, a camcorder out in the crowd. So when Testament was extremely loud and the drums and everything's roaring, you really couldn't hear what was going on. It was the quieter moments during the concert that I kind of targeted where you could really hear Alex. So anyway, here we go. All right, the first lick's this melodic volume swell phrase, and this came from the song The Ballad, during this concert. Something like this. I really love when Alex gets melodic and dark like that. Right there in the beginning, he's doing volume swells on this part where he's doing... that's the melody he's playing right there, starting on that B note. But you want a volume swell, those first, handful of notes there. And when you get back to that E note, that's when you stop doing the volume swells. Like that. So do a volume swell on the B. Like that. And then you're going to move into this. And then right there. Around B minor, faintly, like that. Next up's a melodic arpeggio phrase. This came from the song The Preacher during this live footage. Something like this. One more time. So we're basically playing with an E minor arpeggio, and most players would probably recognize this shape. For E minor way up there. But Alex is actually playing with the E right here, instead of over on the A string like that. He's playing with this, right? And there's your E minor arpeggio right there. But then right there, he basically ends on B flat, which is your flat 5 the first time, right? And the chord behind you is also hitting a B flat right there, like that. And then it does it again, and now you're going to target A, which is the 4th right there. And the chord behind you is hitting an A right there. Or I guess the chord behind Alex is hitting an A right there, like that. And then you're going to do it again and target C, which is the 6th, like the flat 6, like that. Right there. And the C behind you. And then the last time you're going to do something a little different, like that. chord, behind you there is an F. So it's interesting, like all the way behind that lick, the last note's kind of targeting a different note, and the chord changes with it too. Like that. Next up's a sequenced F-sharp Phrygian dominant run, and this came from the song Trial by Fire, and this is really cool, like this. One more time. So this is really demanding, and it's basically F-sharp Phrygian dominant right here. But you could also think of that as just, B harmonic minor right here. It's a mode from harmonic minor, but F-sharp Phrygian dominant right there. And we're basically starting with this E, bending that up. And then there's the sequence. We're going to walk through it really slow. I'm actually starting the sequence with an upstroke, which for some of you out there might seem kind of weird. But if you don't start it with an upstroke, you're going to find this really weird kind of inside picking situation. But with an upstroke, it kind of reveals, or at least relieves, some of that problem. Like this. One more time there, and start with an upstroke. Tricky, sequence, because you're actually starting with 3 notes and then it turns into a 4-note, grouping or cycle like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a handful of a sequence for sure. And it's really clean too. You can hear every single note, which is really hard to do with that. Here's a bonus lick from this footage, and it's this crazy crammed speed lick. And it's definitely a shred lick. And it's basically bookended between 2 bends. He's grabbing this lower B and bends that, plays this frantic crazy lick, and then plays the B again an octave higher and bends that. Something like this. So one more time. So it's frantic and insane and crazy. So he's basically bending this B note, half step up to that C, and he's really kind of milking that bend. And then this is what I came up with. I actually took the clip and slowed it way down, and it really does look like Alex is just frantically, chromatically kind of moving up. But I think there is kind of a method to the madness. This is what I came up with. The bend, and then you're literally shredding, with your fret hand, and literally tremolo picking with your picking hand, and it's just racing and kind of working together. And this is what I came up with. You can see him do the bend, and then he moves back here, and he's grabbing this fingering pretty much the entire time. So start there on that A, and then move that up a whole step. And then right there, I started moving up, minor thirds. So it's definitely this crammed, tremolo-picked, shred phrasing. And I've definitely heard, people like John Petrucci, from Dream Theater, of course, Ronnie Letecro from TNT. They played ideas like this, where they're just cramming as many notes as possible in a little space, like that. So it's not really about precision, but there is, like I said, kind of a method to the madness, and I think that's what Alex is doing, something like that. And definitely when you play along with it, even at a slower, speed, it does kind of sound like that. And then when you change the notes, like maybe you don't go in minor thirds, it doesn't really sound right. So I think it's loosely based around that. So don't quote me. I'm not going to claim this is 100% accurate note for note. But that's basically what Alex was shredding through right there. Alright, that's going to wrap this episode of 3 for All with 3 Alex Skolnick Licks from 1989. Definitely a great player. I've been an Alex Skolnick fan since I was a kid, in high school, watching MTV and Testament videos would pop up. And there's always been something about him. He always has this like sinister flavor and tone, and just the way he plays, the melodies and licks and stuff he plays. It has this dark sound, of course. And then, of course, he can melt your face off, with shredding. And he can also melt your brain, playing all this jazz and fusion and stuff, too. Great guitarist, and definitely not a one-trick pony like some players out there. Seemingly, Alex Skolnick can play and do almost anything, which is very inspiring. So anyway, leave some feedback and comments. Please subscribe to my lessons, and I'll be back before you know with more content and material. Thank you.